2026 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. It's noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via the web, and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad?
Here.
Commissioner Dodd?
Here.
Commissioner Geller?
Here.
Commissioner Weller?
Here.
Chair Ramirez?
Here. Will the clerk please inform the commission of any guests that have joined today's meeting?
Yes, joining us today is Nate Carter from DOJ.
Thank you. Members of the public had the opportunity to provide written public comment to the commission for this meeting. Public comment is provided as an opportunity to receive input from the public. Commissioners will not respond to questions or comments during the meeting. A full copy of the written comments received were provided to the commissioners in advance of the meeting. Will the clerk please share any comments received which meet the guidelines outlined on the lottery's website?
Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, Kitty Martz submitted the following public comment on behalf of the Board of Directors of Voices of Problem Gambling Recovery. As Problem Gambling Awareness Month draws to a close, we were genuinely surprised to learn without prior public notice, opportunity for comment, discussion, and commission meetings that DK Replay was launched on the Oregon Lottery's digital platform this week. We can only assume the lottery views the use of historical sports data as functionally equivalent to live in-play betting. We disagree. The structure of DK Replay closely mirrors high-speed continuous play gambling products akin to slot machines. It is not traditional sports wagering. The rapid pitch-by-pitch format paired with immediate outcome resolution and seamless rebetting creates a continuous betting loop that is widely understood in behavioral research to increase risk of harm. The use of historical data does not meaningfully alter this dynamic. If anything, it may reinforce an illusion of predictability or control where none exists. We also strongly disagree with any characterization of DK Replay as involving meaningful player skill. The design does not provide players with actionable information that can reliably influence outcomes. Instead, it encourages rapid decision-making under conditions that heighten cognitive bias and diminish deliberation, conditions associated with increased vulnerability to harm. Equally concerning is the process by which this product appears to have been introduced. The absence of transparent public discussion, legislative awareness, or stakeholder consultation, including with our Oregon tribes with whom the state maintains gaming compacts, raises serious questions about governance, accountability, and adherence to the spirit of Oregon's longstanding approach to limiting gambling expansion. We urge the Commission to provide a clear public explanation to the governor, legislators, tribal governments, and the people of Oregon detailing the rationale for its approval and the basis on which it is not considered an expansion of digital gambling. Transparency and public trust depend on it. Respectfully, the Board of Directors of Voices of Problem Gambling Recovery. The Commission also received 6 public comments from Pete Goodman, alleging widespread systemic misconduct within the Oregon Lottery. His claims include rigged jackpots, falsified prize and video lottery terminal data, improper accounting practices, and money laundering through lottery games. He raises recurring concerns about reduced transparency following the removal of the public winner list, the shift to anonymous winners after passage of HB 3115, and a significant loss of public accountability. Mr. Goodman identifies numerous individuals and entities, including current and former governors, lottery leadership, commissioners, staff, and vendors. He alleges conflicts of interest, concealed decision-making, and coordinated actions among lottery executives, state officials, attorneys, and vendors. Several submissions focus on alleged irregularities in ticket cashing and jackpot distributions, including long-term patterns involving a Medford area pawn shop and clusters of large wins in specific Oregon communities. He cites limited commission oversight, diminished commissioner authority, frequent leadership turnover, and decision-making concentrated among executives, legal counsel, and vendors. He He also shared concerns regarding gambling-related harms, consumer and youth impacts, and trends toward increased regulation. This concludes the summary of public comments received this month. Copies of the submissions are available through a public records request on Oregon Lottery's website.
Thank you. I'll now turn it over to Director Wells for the director's report.
Thank you, Chair Ramirez. Good morning, commissioners. Last month, as you just heard, DraftKings launched a new sports wagering option within our sportsbook called DK Replay. DK Replay is a wagering option within Oregon Lottery's existing sports betting platform, which is operated by DraftKings. It allows players to wager on replayed baseball pitches using historical data collected from previously authorized live baseball games. DK Replay functions entirely within the approved sports betting platform and represents an additional wagering option rather than a new game or a platform. Following its launch, Lottery received some concerns regarding the style of gameplay. Hearing those concerns, we worked with DraftKings and several days after launch, adjusted the pacing of the game to more closely reflect a live baseball experience and added additional responsible gaming messaging at regular intervals throughout its game. We are expecting, as requested from DraftKings, a game performance report any day, and then another game performance report at the 60-day mark. So we'll be reporting back to you on game performance and any other concerns that we may have heard through those reports. Ambassadors of Public Service. Each year during the Public Service Recognition Week in early May, we take time to thank public employees and celebrate their impact here at Lottery. This year, I'm pleased to recognize 3 Lottery employees who reflect the theme, Leading with Purpose. Our first winner, Brenda Strock, our Retail Applications Manager, brings more than 20 years of service and consistently positive presence. She's recognized for her dependable, proactive support that builds trust with our retailers, including exceptional bilingual assistance that helps ensure clear and equitable access to our programs. Jeff Latimer, a field service technician in Area D, with nearly 13 years at Lottery, is recognized for his ability to simplify complex situations and lead with accountability. He consistently takes ownership and reinforces our shared commitment to quality and integrity. And our third winner, Jules Leach, a technical product manager with 8 years of service, is recognized for setting high standards and following through. His leadership creates alignment across teams and vendor partners, enabling focused and confident execution. So I want to congratulate these 3 winners of the Lottery Ambassadors of Public Service. This is a big honor within our organization, and these 3 individuals really show the deliverables that we seek within this group, and really show the values, I think, is the biggest thing that we really appreciate for them. So again, thank you to these 3 employees for the work that they've put in. Starting this month, customers can choose Spanish when they call Lottery and speak directly with someone in their own language. This works for both players and retailers and removes the need for us to use translation services, creating a smoother experience. After English, Spanish is the second most spoken language in Oregon, used by about 14% of the population. So we're very excited about this shift, and hopefully our retailers and our consumers also appreciate that. Thanks to Lottery staff's donations for our annual food drive, more than 26,000 meals will be provided to the people in need within Marion and Polk counties. This year, we raised about $1,180 more than last year, with a total of $8,840 donated. Lottery volunteers spent about 27 hours helping pack food at the Marion Polk Food Share as part of this effort. So again, I want to thank the employees who donated and spent time working on this program. As far as sales, I'm going to skip my sales report today as we do have staff here to present quarterly reports later in today's meeting. So I will move on to a few winter stories. Michael C. from Hillsborough was playing in a bowling tournament at Park Lanes when he decided to play video lottery game Mighty Miner and won $800. He used some of the winnings to buy himself a new bowling ball for his tournament. After the tournament ended, he decided to spend $60 on one more round of play while hanging out with his friends. It was then he heard all the chimes on the game going off and hit a jackpot of $15,948.55. He said this win will help cover his next trip, which is a bowling tournament in Reno. While out with friends at Malone's Ale House in Beaverton, Stephanie struck gold playing the video lottery game Fort Knox with a $3,952.04 win. Our staff said she was very excited to claim her prize and her big check, taking time to pose for a photo. She plans to put most of her money away in savings. And our third winner for this month, a DraftKings player placed a $50 9-leg same game parlay on the Timberwolves versus Trailblazers, built entirely from NBA player milestone markets. The wager paid off big when all legs hit, earning the customer $17,550 on their $50 wager. And Chair Ramirez and Commissioners, that concludes my report for this month.
Thank you. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
Chair Ramirez, this is Commissioner Dodd. I'm going to abstain from the vote since I wasn't present at the meeting.
Okay.
I move the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on March 27, 2026 be approved as final as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Geller,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. Now I'm going to hand it over for the financial report.
Good morning, Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, and Director Wells. For the record, my name is Carl Strauss, Controller for the Oregon Lottery, and today we will review the financial results through the third quarter of fiscal year 2026. As of March, Lottery has transferred $704 million to the state. This more than satisfies the bond debt coverage covenant on Lottery revenue-backed bonds. The fourth and final quarterly transfer for the fiscal year was transferred in mid-April in the amount of $224 million and brings the total cash transfers for the year to $928 million. The next quarterly transfer will take place in July. Expenses as a percent of gross sales continues to trend down slightly, now coming in at 3.3% year to date. Spending of the investment fund reserves reached $20 million through the end of March. We've completed the planned purchase of video lottery terminals for the year, and we do not anticipate additional purchases or drawdown of the investment funds for the remainder of the year. Our contingency reserve remains fully funded at $150 million. Total net revenue for the 9 months ending March 2026 was $1.1 billion. This was $11.2 million above forecast, or $46.4 million higher than the prior year. The OEA revised the revenue forecast upwards from in March, calling for an increase of $18.3 million net revenue above the December forecast on an annual basis. This higher revenue estimate reflects the strong year-to-date sales, partly driven by larger tax returns at both the state and federal level. Sales of all traditional lottery products was $5.4 million better than forecast due to $9.2 million overperformance on our draw games led by strong sales of Megabucks, Mega Millions, and Keno. This was partly offset by lower sales volume on our scratch games. Video lottery contributed $879 million net revenue year to date. This was 14.1 million or 1.6% better than forecast and a slight increase from the prior year. Sportsbook continues to show strong year-over-year growth with a 14.3% increase of net revenue from the prior year. However, this fell short of expectations by 10.2% due to lower gross wagers played than what was planned. Direct expense through March was 0.2% lower than budget and relatively in line with what we would expect based on the net revenue results. Retail commissions expense was over budget due to the strong sales of traditional and video lottery product lines, while game vendor charges was somewhat lower than budget due to the below budget sports net revenue. Notably, depreciation was 1.7 million below budget. We made a change in the estimated useful life applied to video lottery terminals. This increased the number of years the asset value gets depreciated from 5 years to 7 years. This change was to better align the accounting treatment with the actual usage of video lottery terminals deployed in the field. This also aligns with the service and maintenance contracts for newly purchased VLTs, as well as previous guidance we've received from the Secretary of State while maintaining our conservative application of accounting estimates. Indirect revenue is right in line with budget on a year-to-date basis, as the interest rate earned on our short-term cash has declined throughout the year. The success of our budget savings efforts can be seen across all categories of indirect expenses, with notable budget savings of 2.6 million from salaries and benefits. This due to the managing of position vacancies throughout the year. The next slide, we'll look at a breakdown of service and supplies. Here we see service and supplies expense was 4 million under budget due to a number of factors, notably 1.1 million savings of our retail network expense. The project we've had throughout the year of transitioning retailers to our new internet lines is progressing nicely, with 2,500 or nearly 2,500 retailers transitioned to the new lines. We're roughly 500 retailers ahead of schedule, and better yet, the line conversions have been at a lower per line cost than what was initially planned. Other savings across service and supplies includes 566,000 for audit fees, as well as 1.8 million across our professional services category. In summary, net profit for the 9 months ending March 2026 was 693 million. This was 19.2 million better than budgeted. And as always, a comprehensive variance analysis is provided in the commission packets and public meeting materials. Please see those for additional detailed explanations of our year-to-date performance. Also, you'll find the balance sheet and other quarterly reports for your consideration. At this time, I'd be happy to take any questions or comments. Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the financial statements?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery financial statements for the months ended January 31, February 28, and March 31, 2026 be approved for the record as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad?
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd?
Aye.
Commissioner Geller?
Aye.
Commissioner Weller?
Aye.
Chair Ramirez?
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. I now want to hand it over to Chris Scarro in rulemaking.
Thank you, Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, Director Wells. Good morning. For the record, my name is Chris Scarro. I'm the Rules and Policy Analyst for Lottery, and I have 2 rulemaking items for you this month. First item concerns an amendment to the courier services rule that we presented to the Commission in February. The purpose of this change is to clarify that the prohibition on selling tickets to customers who are outside the state at the time of purchase includes selling an interest in a lottery ticket to a person outside the state, or operating a matching service, which is where an out-of-state customer buys a ticket in a separate lottery that gives them the right to a prize if a matching Oregon lottery ticket wins a prize. We have completed the rulemaking process for this change. We filed notice with the Secretary of State, notified interested parties, legislators, and media. We provided 5 weeks for the public to comment and held a hearing, but we did not receive any public comment for you to consider today. At Commissioner Conrad's request, we did review the rule again with Department of Justice and made edits, which are described in your staff memo and reflected in the rule text included in today's meeting materials. Director Wells recommends the Commission amend the rule as presented with a May 1st effective date. And happy to answer questions. Otherwise, you'll have a motion in your materials.
I move that OAR 177-040-0053 be amended as presented in the meeting materials today, effective May 1, 2026.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Geller,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed.
Thank you. Chair, I have one more for you. So this one is also about the courier services rule, but a different topic. So the rule requires couriers to store tickets in a secure location with a sprinkler-based fire suppression system. However, we heard from some couriers that this would be cost prohibitive, and they asked for some flexibility to use an alternative system that their contractor had attested was equally effective for fire protection. And so we're comfortable giving that flexibility. So we propose to amend the rule to allow either a sprinkler system or other fire suppression system that meets national fire safety standards. The public comment period is open for this change, so I'll plan to report back to the Commission in June after that period has closed. More information, including the rule text and information on how to comment, is in today's meeting materials. And happy to answer questions. Otherwise, that's all I had for you for rules this month.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Now let's move on to staff updates.
Good morning, Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, Director Wells. For the record, my name is Jen Bagger, Retail Channel Product Supervisor, and I'll be sharing the product performance for lottery products today. Make sure I'm sharing my screen. Okay, perfect. More. So starting with Scratchits, Q3 net revenue was down 7.2% year over year. Through the first 3 quarters, we are tracking 8.8% below our budgeted target and have achieved 68.2% of our FY26 year-end goal. The year-over-year decline is really a reflection of changes made to our inventory ordering, not reduced player demand. Early in the fiscal year, we had about 1/3 of retailers on automatic orders. Today that number is approximately 98%. Just to provide a little more context, Order Wizard, which is the lottery's automated ordering system, aligns an individual retailer's inventory with their sales based on validations, which provides a more accurate picture of true market performance. This replaced manual ordering that previously inflated reported sales because often retailers would activate all inventory they received, even when it exceeded customer demand. This quarter's top 5 Scratchits were all $10 to $30 games, reflecting a continued player shift to higher price points. While these games make up just over 20% of active games in market, they generate about 1/3 of total sales. And that is all I had for Scratchits. Are there any questions? Okay, we will move on to draw games. So while Jackpot Games and Keno represent only half of our draw game portfolio, they generate approximately 92% of total net revenue. Keno is our most consistent draw game, delivering dependable performance and a stable revenue stream. Jackpot game performance is more variable and is primarily driven by jackpot size, with higher and sustained jackpots leading to stronger player engagement and sales. With the last win in August of 2025, the Megabucks jackpot continued to grow through Q3 and was hit on April 13th when it reached 11.2 million, the highest jackpot roll since March of 2015, driving a 387.5% year-over-year increase. Raffle rounded out the top 5 games last quarter, achieving another sellout this year. The table to the right reflects performance across all draw games. Through the first 3 quarters of FY26, revenue is tracking 8.8% above the budgeted target, and we are within 10.9% of our year-end goal. And that concludes my report out. Unless there are any questions, I will turn it over to Sar. Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Jen. Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, Director Wells, good morning. For the record, my name is Sar Richards. I'm the manager of the video gaming products here at the lottery, and we'll be providing this quarter's update. As we start out, the highlight is we were up 4.6% year over year. This is the second quarter in a row we've been up year over year. Overall, year over year, keep saying that, we're at 0.7%. Shifting to the right, just like what Jen was describing, we're comparing to our budget and forecast. And again, for Q3 of FY26, we exceeded budget and forecast. And then moving down to the quarterly takeaway, some of the reasons for that, and as I mentioned earlier, are the state and federal tax refunds that came out this year. But also, we had 3 very powerful launches: Crazy Chickens, the Golden Ram, and Huff and Puff. They have and continue to resonate with players, and all 3 are going to be included in the top 5 games list to the left when they get to there. Another huge contributor to our performance is the new Sierras continue to roll out, and their performance exceeds the replaced terminal. Right now, the Sierra is performing at $436 win per unit per day, and the Oxygen, the terminal being replaced, is at $326 win per unit per day. Touched on the big listing of our top 5 games. Big City 5's Diamond continues to be our #1 game, contributing the greatest share of gameplay. But again, Crazy Chickens, which came out in January, continues to be the #2 game. And just to give a little context to that, generally we get a game launch and the games do really well for like 13 weeks or roughly that time frame, and then they start to tail off. But Crazy Chickens is definitely resonating with players. And then again, the same thing is holding true with the Golden Ram in 3rd place and Huff and Puff in 5th place. A lot of that are the game attributes of those games are appealing to players that have that little bit of extra money in their entertainment wallets based on the state and federal tax refunds. And that's it that I have for video, unless there are any questions.
I do have a very quick question if I can.
Yeah, of course.
So just looking at Q1 and Q2 being down actuals to budget and the little bump up in Q3 from the tax returns, how long historically do those tax return bumps last? Should we trying to get into look for Q4, where should we be? Should it be pretty close to that budgeted, or what are your thoughts on that?
I'm thinking it's going to be. I think we're going to continue this momentum moving forward. Those 3 launches are doing well, really well, and this year is continuing to resonate with players as well. So I can't like point to that would definitely be at 4.6% again, but I think that we're going to be in good shape heading into Q4. And then the plans that we're developing for the next fiscal year will build on that momentum even more. I don't know if I answered your question, but I think we'll be in good shape in Q4 this year.
Thank you.
Of course.
You might also have a factor in terms of the longevity of the tax refund bump in that federal and Oregon and many states have instituted the non-immediate issuance of checks. And they are, if people have filed tax returns requesting a refund but did not report banking information for a direct deposit, those checks will probably be delayed up to about 6 weeks from the April 15th deadline. So I imagine you'll get quite a bit of that refund factor in the next 6 weeks.
I was not aware of that, and thank you for sharing that. That's buoys my opinion of Q4 even more, so thank you. Anything else about video? If not, then I'll turn it over to Carrie to talk about sports.
Chair, Commissioners, Director Wells, for the record, my name is Carrie Hemphill, and I am the Sports Betting Product Manager here at the Oregon Lottery. First, we're going to start with the yearly performance summary. Through the first 3 quarters, the sports product has tracked 10.2% below our budgeted target, and we are currently 34% from our year-end goal for FY26. A few things to note. The sports forecast is different than other lottery products as it is currently done as a single prize percentage forecast for the entire year, which is based on a lifetime average. That said, sports prize percentages can be extremely volatile. Therefore, we do expect variances to occur. Looking at Q1, you'll notice it was off quite a bit. The reason, Q1 had a prize payout significantly higher than the average used for the forecast. The result is a large negative variance. During Q1, which was July, August, we were right on track with our forecast, but September brought in the beginning of the NFL season. And during that time, we saw 2 very poor Sunday football game results, which had high scoring games, leading to great successes in prop markets and resulted in wins by our customers. In addition, baseball, like football, had large successes of marquee teams, which also muted our margins significantly. Looking at Q2, the product bounced back when the tide shifted back in our favor. And then Q3, we see a drop again. But this time, the drop in Q3 is not so much related to the prize payout. It's more closely right on forecast. The drop in Q3 is more likely the result of the amount of dollars played during the last quarter and the sports season factors or customer factors, so such as Super Bowl or players leaving the Sportsbook app during the month of March to possibly play elsewhere for the NCAA bets that we don't offer on our platform. So digging into Q3 just a little bit deeper, as expected, we experienced a natural drop in volume from Q2 to Q3 as football wound down and the Super Bowl wrapped up in February. But even with the seasonal shift, engagement remained strong. We saw over 111,000 customers come in and place a wager during the quarter, generating over $224 million in turnover and $23.3 million in net revenue. Overall volume continued to grow at a modest pace, but we did see revenue decline year over year. That decline was driven almost entirely by lower hold percentages from this year's playoffs and Super Bowl with the NFL, which created a difficult comparison against last year's metrics. In the box, you'll just see a couple percentage highlights. So our number of bets were up 1.2%. Turnover grew 4.5%, and our unique active bettors, so new customers coming in during the quarter, increased by 10%. Quickly, football and basketball remained our backbone. Basketball was the standout performer of the quarter. Its turnover was up 4% over last year, and the GGR was up over 11%. Basketball continues to deliver strong, steady growth across the board. Football also posted solid engagement, but like I said, revenue came in significantly lower than last year's extraordinary results. With the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl included in the quarter, football generated $4.1 million in GGR, which was down 53% year over year. Again, the reason, last year's Super Bowl produced exceptionally high holds, around 36%. This year's game still did extremely well at 16.5%, but it's really difficult to match an outlier like last year. Beyond the major sports, the next tier, table tennis, soccer, and tennis continued to perform very well. They all contributed over $6 million to GGR, with soccer leading the group thanks to strong activity in the major European leagues. Soccer is going to be a big focus starting in June coming up with the World Cup. It'll arrive in North America, and the matches are Seattle and San Francisco. So having them within our time zone, we expect a very meaningful lift in soccer betting activity, especially if the U.S. team advances during the process. Quickly, new user acquisition was another bright spot of the quarter. We added over 18,000 new users coming in, which is up over the 16,000 metric we had last year. Super Bowl, and in particular, remains our strongest driver of this quarter, bringing in new registrations, but we continue to see reliable spikes with the major MMA and boxing events as well. And that is it for the sports betting update. Any questions? Okay, then we can move to the next slide. So here on the next slide is a view at the portfolio quarter performance through the first 3 quarters, which is a roll-up of all the product metrics the team just presented. This shows where we are tracking overall with the portfolio budgeted versus actuals as we move forward. So what you will see here is our overall portfolio. We are tracking 2.2% below our budgeted target, and we are currently about 26% from our year-end goal of FY26. That is it for me for the quarter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I open it up to Commissioner Communications, I would just like to commend the lottery for the financial performance so far this year. I mean, it's been a lot of uncertainty, and yet, you know, the top line is right on track, and you're doing it at much lower expenses than you budgeted, which means you're turning more money back to the state. And so to be this far in the year and still be on track like that is commendable, and certainly makes our job as commissioners a whole lot easier when you have performance like that. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to the other commissioners for any communications or any other business that they might want to bring up. Okay. With that, this concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on Friday, May 29th at 9 a.m. Thank you all for attending today's meeting. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, one and all.
Have a good weekend.